discipleship is the fuel of champions. It's not one-dimensional, it's multi-dimensional.
I think there's always someone that has something that you need, and there's always someone that needs something that you have.
Yes.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a brand new season of iDisciple. We're so glad that you've joined us today for this episode. My name is Caleb. I'm joined here by Pastor Mark, who is also dad to me.
Hi, Caleb.
And it is great to be back.
Absolutely excited today. It's been a long time. Well,
Yes.
I don't know how long, but we've had a very long summer month or so, and it's great to be back.
Great to be back with Season 3, Episode 1 of iDisciple. Now, here's what we want to do in today's episode. We want to go to the foundation level. Why does iDisciple exist, and what is its purpose? So we want to talk about that in this episode today. So I want to jump right in to where this all comes from. And I'm going to read to us from Matthew 28. And in Matthew 28, Jesus is speaking to his disciples for the very last time before he is to ascend into heaven and leave earth. And in verse 18, it says, "Then Jesus came to them," they are his disciples, "and said, 'All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me.'" This is Jesus speaking. He says, "Therefore, go and make disciples." Again, these are his final words. "Therefore, go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age." So if we were to ask the question today, how important is discipleship? Well, it's the final message that Jesus left us with. And I know you were speaking to our staff this week about discipleship, and we want to unpack some of that today. But let's begin with the definition of discipleship, taken from the very root. And it's simply this: to train or to help someone understand and live the Word of God.
Yeah.
So that is what we're here to do today, to train and to help you understand and live the Word of God. We also encourage with iDisciple for you not just to watch this by yourself, but to gather a friend or a group of friends. For me, I gather with 6 other guys in our church. For you, maybe it's just one friend to begin with. And we believe that the discipleship journey, it can also be done from afar. For instance, we're teaching you from afar today, but it can also be done up close through relationship. And that is why we encourage you not to do this journey alone. So that is really laying the foundation for where we want to go today, unpacking the theme of discipleship.
Yeah, I think, well done, Caleb. That's fantastic. I think one of the problems with some Bible words that are very churchy, for instance, the word discipleship, we then presume or assume that people know what that actually means. The question is, do I know what that means? Do you know what that means? And so even for my benefit, for your benefit, for everybody listening to this podcast and watching, I think today, we've got 15 minutes just to unpack the word discipleship because it's of great value. I mean, when you think that Jesus, what you've just said, is his last message to the planet, is one of making disciples, surely we then need to say, well, excuse me, I don't exactly know what making disciples is.
Right.
And I think what we've done is that we have taken the word discipleship and we've made it one-dimensional in that we've taken it to mean anytime you're in a classroom or a church building listening to a speaker who is teaching the Bible.
Yeah.
I want to really drill down this morning with us, with the people here in this session, to say, hey, No, it's not one-dimensional. It's multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not. It's not actually a classroom setting. If it's anything, it's not classroom. It's conversation.
Right.
So we need to get that distinction out there to everybody. That stop thinking classroom, start thinking conversation. So, as you know, with the staff on Monday, I came out with this phrase that I think really is a phrase we have to keep using again and again, which is discipleship is any time that you are having a conversation with another person that is Jesus focused
Yeah.
and people nurturing, that's discipleship.
Yeah.
So it can be the classroom, but it's more likely to be the conversation, and it's often the conversation in the corridor. So we've got the conversation, we've got the classroom, we've got the conversation, and we've got the corridor, meaning you've heard me talk about corridor conversations, whereby you're not actually planning something in your diary, but you're walking past somebody in the corridor and you go, hey, how are you doing? How you going?
Yeah.
And that exchange. Now, of course, if we're only talking about the weather, that's not discipleship.
Right.
Or if we're talking about football, that's not discipleship. So it's not just a conversation. The conversation is about being Jesus focused and people nurturing. Nurturing meaning I'm growing that person with this conversation.
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes it's not even a corridor conversation. It can be a call on your phone.
Yeah.
That call is just as valuable. You don't even have to be face to face. You can be calling somebody, encouraging them. The question is, where is Jesus in the conversation? And am I making this person bigger and better? So to me, Caleb, discipleship is always getting up in the morning for me saying, how can I make and improve somebody? How can I make somebody's day better? How can I improve their life by leading them more on the Jesus journey? If I've taken them from there to there, it's only a very small increment, but I have literally discipled them a little further down the path.
Yeah.
So that's what that's where I'm at the moment with discipleship.
That's very good, and it's important to note that wherever people are at on the spiritual spectrum, if you will,
Yeah.
a believer, a seasoned believer, a new believer, an unbeliever, the reality is some form of discipleship is already taking place
Yeah.
in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it may not be a form of discipleship that's leading us to Jesus, but it's a form of discipleship that is molding who we are, our character, our habits. I mean, you can be influenced by a TV presenter,
Yeah.
just their personality, their opinions, their preferences. You can be influenced by so many different factors in this world, and we don't even realize it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, discipleship in the biblical form, is this idea of we are being ushered towards Jesus. We are following people who are following him. So the end goal is not just I become a better version of me. The end goal is I become more like Jesus.
Jesus.
That is true discipleship.
Absolutely.
And so there's also this balance of being a disciple versus being a disciple maker. Jesus said,
Very good.
go and make disciples. But who was he talking to?
Yeah.
He was talking to his disciples. So he was talking to disciples, instructing them to go and make disciples. And so inevitably there will always be a both and.
Mm-hmm.
We never get to the point where we don't need input,
Correct.
where we don't need somebody else's voice. However, depending on where you are at, spiritually speaking, maybe you've been a Christian for 25 years, you really ought to have something to invest into somebody else.
And therein lies the age-old problem of why the church in years, centuries, decades gone by has come to almost an abrupt halt, stop, a conclusion almost, never will,
Yeah.
but it stopped growing in the 80s, 90s because people became just consumers. They just wanted it for them.
Yeah.
How was the service today? What did you get out of it? And then we rate the worship, and then we rate everything. So we become consumers.
Yeah.
Whereas we're not. We're supposed to be conduits. We're a conduit, like a salt and pepper on the table.
Yeah.
We're not just meant to hold salt. I am not. I'm not a container to hold salt. I'm holding salt so that I can be a conduit for somebody else, for something else. So it's in
Very
me
good.
for another thing.
Very good.
So I'm being discipled to pass it on.
Yeah.
So I don't just consume what's being given and get full fat and everything else that goes with it.
Yeah.
I'm being fed that I can feed. So you are absolutely right that we've got to have this now, even if never before in people's lives or our church. This is now the biblical definition of discipleship. You are to be discipled if you've just become a Christian or even on the journey.
Yeah.
And therefore, the next moment, the next day, the next week, you are now what you learned. You are now passing that on to somebody that doesn't know that.
Yeah.
So if I teach you about the presence of God, if I teach you about how to live an anointed life, if I teach you about tithing, about offerings, and all of that, and you've never heard that before, I've discipled you.
Yeah.
But now you've got a friend who's a Christian who they don't know that, so you now have a responsibility. And I think what we've done, and we said, well, discipleship making is for mature believers. No, discipleship making is for those who've been saved for a few minutes, who've now learned something, they pass it on. We're all disciples. You don't become a disciple at the age 30 or 40 or 50. It's complete nonsense.
Yeah.
So we got to keep this moving. We pass it on, we pass it on, we pass it on. That's what discipleship is.
Yeah. I think there's always someone that has something that you need,
Yep.
and there's always someone that needs something that you have.
Yes. Yeah.
So therefore, you have this chain of discipleship. There's always something I can learn, and there's always something I can pass on, no matter where I am on the journey.
I've got a great trigger question that I use not too often, but often enough for it to become a very important part of discipleship.
Very good.
And the trigger question is putting the onus upon you, not on me. So the greatest way that you can grow any given day is when you're around somebody that's just a little bit ahead of you. That doesn't have to be years, decades ahead of you.
Yeah.
It could be they may have got saved and become a Christian a month before you. And so maybe they've heard some great stuff. So, but here's the question. It's a trigger in order to get you to grow. And the question is this: you say to me, is there anything that you need to say to me? See, that what is happening therefore there is that you're taking the emphasis on me approaching you. You're approaching me and saying, hey, is there anything that you need to say to me?
Very good.
Now, on one day I may go, actually, no, you're doing fantastic. On another day, losing my iPad. On another day, I may be just needing to say, hey, just the way you speak to people, the way you are around people, I've noticed that you're a bit XYZ.
Yeah.
So because you've put the ball in my court, I am now open because you're open to say. That's a great form of discipleship.
Yeah.
So I'd say to anybody that knows, that's hanging around more mature Christians, just walk up to them and say, hey, is there anything that you need to say to me? They may go, oh, that's a surprise. No. Or they may go, well, you asked me, so let's talk about this area in your life.
Yeah.
That's a great way to kickstart. It's what I call a trigger question to get people motivated in that area.
Yeah. So good.
You know, as you know, I'll attempt most things. As a man, I think most men want to attempt most things in the area of DIY.
Yeah.
Whether successful or unsuccessful is another. I mean, some of the plumbing I've done in our house, as you know, has resulted in lots of water in the wrong places. Yeah. Water coming through the ceiling, water on the floor, quite deep. Yeah. Remember the one Sunday morning I'd done some plumbing in your bedroom, bathroom thing.
Yeah.
And just before church, I walked into the garage and it was 2 inches deep in water. Whoops, that was my fault. However, I'm willing to have a go.
Yeah.
The reason I'm bringing this up, Caleb, is that I'm willing to have a go based on what I've seen other people do. So they are the masters at it, and I've stood and I've watched and go, well, I could actually do that myself.
Yeah.
Discipleship, as we know, is the
Very
modern
good.
word, apprenticeship or student. So I can wallpaper and decorate, not based on the fact that I was born a decorator or a wallpaperer, whatever the word may be,
Yeah.
but the fact that when I was growing up, my dad did all the wallpapering at home, and I stood there as a young boy and I watched him, and then as a teenager I watched him, so that when myself and your mom, we had our first family home, our little 2 up and 2 down house, I kind of did a bit of wallpapering, made a mess of it. I mean, you know some funny stories. Your mom went out one day, and I was in another house that we were in, and she left me to wallpaper the bedroom. When she came back, she said it's on upside down. But I'm willing to have a go. And discipleship really is being willing to learn from somebody else,
Really good.
being willing to have a go. I'll tell you the other thing as well that discipleship is, it's unlearning what you presumed.
It's very good.
Unlearning what somebody else who was wrong taught you. I was taught things by my grandmother as a Christian that she was completely wrong about. I mean, she had so many old wives' tales to tell, and she had so many things that were really superstition.
Yeah.
And now I look back and realize that. Take, for instance, one evening, myself and your granddad, my dad, he asked me if I could help him stick some wood panels to the wall with a certain type of glue. It was a winter's night. The central heating was on in his lounge, where mom and dad's house, my mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
And it was called Evo Stick. You can still get it today. And you would pour it onto the back of the wood and you'd scrape it with a scraper, and you'd do that. And so we spent 2 or 3 hours sticking this wall paneling until we were on the floor, and we were completely under this trance. We couldn't walk, we lay down, and it was kind of weird. We were basically some of the first drug takers in our church. We were as high as a kite.
Wow.
And your nan, my mom, came into the room. I was flat out on the sofa. I was almost in a coma. He was the same. Your granddad was the same, on the floor. And then she picks up Evo Stick and it says, do not apply this in an unventilated room where there is heat, especially. It must be done with windows open. And we were the first glue sniffers, basically. So that taught me, that to say this, long story, that to say this, I learned that day what he taught me.
Yeah.
I'm unlearning what he did.
Yeah.
Because now my experience is, so discipleship is not just learning, it's unlearning.
So good. I know we're coming into land right now, and my mind goes to the verse in the New Testament where Paul, I believe it is, who was a major writer in the New Testament,
Yep.
said something along the lines of, we shared our lives with you. And what he is basically saying there is we really opened up every part of our lives and we shared them with people. And discipleship really, in conclusion, looks a lot like that as well. As you've already stated, it's not just the classroom, it's not just the official environment where it may have a name attached to it or an event, but it really is sharing your lives with people. It's getting in other people's worlds and allowing people to get into your world. Because truly, it's not just in the classroom that you learn, it is by watching how people live, how people speak to others, how they treat their spouse, how they behave around family. It's observing how they're generous, and there's just so many things that oftentimes you don't learn until you get into a person's world and you just observe how they do day-to-day life. And I think that's really what we're getting at today is discipleship has a much broader spectrum than just this one-dimensional approach.
It's multidimensional. And finally, Caleb, I think we go back to this. Anybody that's saying, so is it not the classroom? No, it can be the classroom. You can learn woodwork in the classroom, but you can probably learn it as great or greater than by being with a master craftsman one-to-one. So you can do classroom, you can do one-to-one, you can do telephone, you can do corridor, you can do conversations, you can do chat. It's multidimensional. And I think what we want to leave with everybody today, Caleb, is that discipleship is the fuel of champions.
Beautiful.
Discipleship is the fuel of champions. So what we are wanting to do here is not only thoroughly biblical, it's the last commandment of Jesus, but we want to make sure that we are fueling everyday champions. Champions are made, or champions are not made, based on this whole thing here.
That's right.
Yeah.
So good.
Great.
Well, there we have it. Episode 1, Season 3. Thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to being back on our next episode where we're going to be doing something a little bit new.
Amazing.
That we haven't yet done before. So we're looking forward to seeing you again. We'll now hand it over to you and your groups. And until next time, thanks for joining us on iDisciple.